Thanks for being with us here this evening for our webinar, How Willamette University MBA education can help you achieve your goals. We've got a great evening planned. I think we're going to be here for about 30 or 35 minutes with some really good information. The first thing I want to do is just introduce our team. Tony Casonario, who everybody who goes through the application process or gets recruited at some point is going to meet, whether it's in person or in their interview or by phone. And Tony does a great job. He's going to be here joining us in a few minutes. My name's Nate Nagy. I'm Assistant Director of Recruitment here with the MBA for Professionals program and based down here in Salem, but I do also recruit prospects up in Portland as well. Heather Freeman just joined us a few months ago, and she is our Portland recruiter and is located at our Eco Trust building downtown in the Pearl District. And Heather does a great job and has really made a lot of great connections in the Portland area. So don't be surprised if you see her out at a chamber event or some networking event in the area. And then lastly, Dylan Tutt, who is finishing up his MBA with us and does a great job. It was just down in California at some recruiting fairs, but recruits our full-time students, but also part-time students as well. And so as you go through this process, at some point, everybody's going to touch base with Tony, but more than likely, whether it's me, Heather, or Dylan, you'll be working directly with us as you go through the process. Tonight, we have a couple of our alums that are going to speak just about their experience and how the Willamette MBA kind of helped them get to where they are at now. The first person who's going to talk to you is Jenny Peters. Jenny and I actually went through the program together and just finished up. It seems like yesterday, but I think it was about a month or two ago, and is now the CFO for Nature's Kick Corporation here in Salem, Oregon. So Jenny, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction, Nate. So, Willamette has just been a great experience, something I wasn't necessarily planning on when I saw the Facebook ad for Willamette. I wasn't necessarily planning on getting my master's. It was something I'd always wanted to do, but early on when I was getting my education, I actually didn't finish my bachelor's because we had kids, life got in the way, and just had never gone back to school. And I needed some further education so I could progress in my career. And I had looked at taking some classes, maybe at like the community college or something, just to kind of brush up on some skills that I needed. And after taking one class, I realized I could be teaching these classes and they were just not the level that I was needing. And so I started looking around a little bit and yeah, I saw the ad for Willamette and I was like, well, maybe, I'll just kind of look at it and it'll be something I do down the road. And then once I started hearing about how much Willamette has really planned for students returning to school, instead of, when you're right out of high school, you can really focus on your education. You can go to all these daytime classes. But when you have a family and you have a career, it's really hard to just try to take time off of work and be able to attend these classes. And so Willamette got me at, okay, you have these classes in the evening. It's 2 days a week. They give you dinner. They've basically done everything to kind of take down those barriers to entry for people who are returning students. And so eventually it was like, okay, well, all my excuses started coming off of my list of reasons why I hadn't gone back to school. It was easy for me to drop off my kids with my husband and to go to school. And they made the admissions process very easy. Again, I didn't finish my bachelor's, but with my work experience and some help with my recruiter, I was able to get approved, which was amazing. That I was at a point where I thought, I'm going to have is my associate's degree. That's just how it's going to be. To now, 2 years later, having my master's degree, which is a huge accomplishment and something I've always really wanted to do. And it was just such a life goal that I didn't think was even in reach for me. And then Willamette really helped me get there. Um, and as you know, I have kids, and so some of you might be wondering about like, can you juggle like work life and family life? I now have 5 kids. I was actually pregnant for half of the program. And Nate met my kids. We had some study sessions where I had to bring them with me. But Willamette does keep in mind that we are working professionals. We do have a life, and the curriculum is just a little bit different. The professors are understanding, and it is a challenging program, which is what I was looking for. I wanted to further my education and further my career, and that's what Willamette has provided for me. It's also provided a lot of personal growth for me. They do offer the study abroad trips, and I went to 3 of them: Japan, Australia, and Paris, all of which were great. And I was able to do with my elective credits. Each country can be in a different elective. I had never left the country before. And Willamette really offered that opportunity for me to not be, just saying, okay, I shouldn't leave the kids or I shouldn't leave my job, you know, actually getting to do something fun and put myself first. And it was such an amazing learning experience, met some really great friends. I just went to the pumpkin patch for my birthday with one of the people I went on some of these trips with. So it's been amazing, not just for my career, because I did get a promotion. I am now CFO, helping with my husband as we continue with working on running the company as his father is pulling back more, retiring more. He is the inventor, so he'll always be around, but and doing more of the day-to-day stuff. And it's I really attribute a lot of my success in getting that step further that I wanted in my career, and also just the amazing personal experience I had and growing as a person. It was one of the best experiences of my life, truly. And I really appreciate that Willamette made so much effort into allowing students to come back and just having a really great program.
Thanks, Jenny. I appreciate you sharing. Our next alum, Donnell Morgan, graduated in 2021, and he's the executive director of Elevate Oregon. So, Donnell, thanks for being here tonight. And can you share a little bit of your story with us?
My goodness, you said 2021. It seems
Wow.
so long ago, right? We had an interesting journey because we started in 19 and then the pandemic hit. So we had an interesting journey with my cohort and people that became really good friends. Congratulations, Jenny. I know it feels good to be done. And Nathan, I know what that's like when you cross that line in your cohort. It's like a together thing. You feel like you've accomplished something with a new family. Um, my journey was a little bit different. I was the executive director. I got appointed in 2016 as the executive director at Elevate Oregon. I'm sorry, 2018. I got appointed the executive director, and I worked with kids my entire life. So Elevate Oregon is a nonprofit that work with at-risk youth in the east side of Portland. So we take kids from 3rd grade to 12th grade, and we do intense mentorship in a school setting. So very similar to a cohort model at Willamette, we work with kids in cohorts in our particular program. What this program Willamette did for me is priceless. When I became the executive director in 2018, I knew about working with kids, but when someone showed me a finance sheet and all these things, I quickly realized I need more training. And so I hired a coach, and that coach, and he's coaching me up, I quickly realized the trainings that they want me to go to, that's not going to do it. I kept getting these inboxes from this lady named Beth Swanson, I believe her last name is. She would inbox me in LinkedIn. And I'm like, there's no way I have time for to do an MBA. Are you kidding me? I'm knee deep in work here. There's just no way. She kept emailing. She kept emailing. I finally said, okay, I will hear you out, ma'am. So we had a lunch downtown Portland, and I'm looking at the pamphlet and the curriculum, the course, and it literally spoke right to me. What I needed to not only to navigate the challenges of being an executive director, because a lot of us enter the program to get to where I was at. I was already there, so I could have easily just said, you know what, I'm good. But the challenge of getting better, um, I was so scared. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I was so scared. Like, how am I going to work full time and then go do this? Are you kidding me? I gotta run an organization. So we sitting down at lunch and I'm looking at the curriculum and everything, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. This is exactly what I needed. This is exactly what I need at the time of my life. And that's 2019 as we're sitting there having lunch. Now, mind you, it's a process. You know, you go through the paperwork. And at the time, I had to go take like this placement test, so to speak. And I'm like, I've been taking a test in years. Are you kidding me? And so, one thing I can say, they made it so easy. They made it so easy. You give some information here, give them some information there. They walk you right through it. Everything was so new. I hadn't done it in so long, but they made it so easy. I remember the very first day. I worked all day. So I did the Wednesday, Thursday slot. So it's a 2-day slot. I did Wednesday, Thursday. I worked all day. I look at my watch, it's 5 o'clock, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go to class now. I drive downtown to the to the campus. I'm so tired. I'm dead tired. And we enter the classroom, and you can tell there was like 25 more people in that classroom just like me. Scared, don't know what's about to happen, tired. And this guy named Robert Walker walks into the classroom with so much energy. We're all looking at this guy like, are you serious? And this is like statistics, or I can't remember quite frankly what he was teaching, but it was something I was terrified of because it was math. I'm like, oh gosh, the first class I have to take that I'm just terrified of. And one thing I can say about Robert Walker, he became a really good friend, is that he made it so fun. The first thing he said to us is he wants us to pass, like he wants us to do well. And I think that eased a lot of people in anxiety when an instructor come in and they want you to succeed. Needless to say, my journey was incredible. Not only did I learn how to run my organization, it was a classroom within, it was a lesson within a lesson because I was the only African American student in my classroom. So when I think about a melting pot, you're working with people of different races, different beliefs, but we all had to come together for those 2 years, in which have become lifelong friends. But we all had to come together and use our talents to really uplift each other. I think a lot of people looked at me as like this guy that just had all the answers, right? And I think one thing that one of my instructors, I remember very, very clearly in the very beginning, he said, the one thing you all going to have to learn how to do is unlearn. You have to unlearn how not to have all the answers and be comfortable with that. Again, easing anxiety. I don't have to, you know, shoot 1,000 here. I can just kind of feel my way through it. One thing I will say for me, being an African American man, it was different because I didn't know if I fit or if I belonged. But again, during the instructors, I wrote down a few words when Jenny was talking. One thing I would say, the first word I would say about this particular program, the first word comes to me is family. The instructors, your classmates, the people that come from outside, and speak to us as a group, the alumnus, it just became a family. I mean, I really became friends with my instructors. And we do this project at the very end, and from your very first day, they talk about this project you're going to have to do. I believe it's called the IMAP, and you have to. It's something that you really want to do to help maybe increase your business, but it's a business plan for the most part. When I first took over at Elevate Oregon, we were in one school district. I think that's what it says here on my bio. I was in one school district at Park Rose School District, and actually in that district, we were only in 2 of the 8 schools. Halfway through the program, we were in all the schools. My IMAP my business plan and my IMAP with the help of my instructors, the classes that led up to that IMAP, my plan was to replicate. How can I replicate the model of Elevate Oregon, take this incredible resource to other schools to continue to serve more kids on a higher level? 2019, 2 schools. 2024, 8 schools and another school district. We've even gotten another school district across the water in Vancouver, and we're pretty much in every district on the east side of Portland. So meaning David Douglas, Reynolds, Centennial, Park Rose. So what this program did for me, like when I said in the beginning, is priceless. It just opened me up to different ways of thinking. It challenged me. And I would say the second year, and Jenny, correct me if I'm wrong, and Nathan, the second year, it was almost like having fun. It was like, you know what? That first year's out the way. I'm actually gonna go and have fun with this. I'm really gonna enjoy this journey. I think I laughed more. I was actually looking forward to meeting new instructors. When you finish one class, you get a couple weeks off. I was looking forward to meeting the next instructor. The next word I would say about this program is trust. They earned my trust very quickly because they stood behind what they said. They stood exactly behind what they said, wanting me to succeed, wanting me to pass, and really wanted me to enjoy the journey. I was able to trust those instructors. And even to this day, I've had lunch, I've coffee, emails, and they've always supported me even after the journey. And I've been done for a little while now. So just to be able to, not knowing a whole lot, just trusting people. And the last thing I would say is these instructors are passionate. I, I've never seen a person passionate about finance. It's like the craziest thing ever. But the way they taught it, the way they talked about it, I could get behind that because there's things in my life that I'm passionate about that I talk about. And again, the curriculum spoke to me. I was able to go in and really get a family feel that people that I can trust. And they were just as passionate about what they were doing as what I do. So for me, every opportunity I get to come into this space to shout the praises of these instructors, to shout the praises of my cohort, and I think that's a big portion of the reason why I wanted to do it as well, because I get to be I get to be around people, building network, building friendships, building lifelong family members, that additional family members. It's easy to go online, take some courses, but the experience you will not get. Like you're not going to get the experience of what Jenny spoke about earlier, what I was able to feel. And in full circle, a good friend of mine who I met, he landed at another organization, and his organization honored me with a community impact award. So these things go full circle. We support each other all the time. I could talk about it all day. I could really truly talk about Willamette and my experience all day. I think if you're thinking about it, if you're on the edge, you might as well jump in because you're going to get so much more than an education. A lot of laughs, a lot of, oh my goodness, can I do this? Yes, you can, because they're going to make sure that they walk you right down that path. And the amount of anxiety that I had, and I think about it today, I gotta laugh a little bit about how scared I was that very right, Jenny. Am I right though? That very first day, it's like, what did I sign up for, man? What the heck am I doing? It's like 6 o'clock. It's dark. I'm starving, but she did say they feed us incredible meals. The meals are incredible. Um, and there's my award right there. The hard work it's something that I can be proud of. And I coach basketball, high school basketball as well. So I talked to the kids every day. I was an older student going back to school, but learning never stops. And I just feel like the day you stop learning is the day you really stop achieving in life. And I've gone back several times down to Salem, and I've spoken to some of the students there. And yeah, it's just been an incredible experience. I wouldn't change anything, and I would do it all over again in a heartbeat had I not gone through that experience. So, again, thank you, Willamette, again for always, thinking about me in these spaces, and I hope you all choose to follow your path in life. So, thank you all for having me.
Thanks, Danelle, and thanks for sharing. I always love hearing people's journeys and their stories, and you're right, we are family. So uh, I hear what you're saying. Before I get into the format really quick, and we're going to kind of finish with the what the admissions process looks like, and that won't take us too long. But this is a question, and Jenny or Danelle or both can maybe answer this really quick. I get a lot of questions about, well, what's the workload? And I think the biggest thing for people that have been out of school for a little while, I think it's getting into that new routine, and there's that anxiety there. Do either one of you want to talk about kind of your experience with the workload and how you balance that with everything that you had going on in your lives at that time?
Jenny, you could take it first. I mean, you're just finishing, it's still fresh. Would you like to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the workload, I mean, when you haven't been in school, it is something different. But, I kind of realized how much time maybe I was spending watching TV or just kind of scrolling or just kind of relaxing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And instead of doing that, it was more of reading the textbooks in the evening or just some time management, which one of the professors for me was Ashley Nixon had talked about time management a little bit early on in the course to kind of prepare us more for like getting back into the groove of things, which was great. And so there was support there. Also, just a tip is try to, once you get the list of homework from a professor, don't procrastinate. Look at that list before the course starts. And if there's optional assignments, because a lot of professors will have cases that you can choose which weeks you want to do it, because, we can't always, do a case every week. That's just too much coursework. And so there's usually like two or three that you'll pick. And if you can pick to do those sooner rather than later, you're going to just set yourself up for success because then you can kind of even things out with like a midterm and then the final, but you have kind of more of your homework towards the beginning of the semester. So for me, and the first two classes also didn't have as much homework. And so I think that's a little bit on purpose that it's Willamette's trying to kind of warm you up to getting into the groove of doing homework and such. So I found it very manageable, even with, my kids and stuff. But at least for me, anyways. What about
Exactly.
you to know?
Yeah, yeah. It was rigorous, I will say. But like you said, you hit it. I think you summed it up very, very beautifully. The time we're spending scrolling, watching television, doing other stuff. Now all of a sudden, your time is intentional, and everything is there before the course even starts. So if you plan to start in January, in December, it's there. Like it's there for you to take a look at it and really start to look what's going to be coming up. Wednesday, Thursday night would work for me. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday is one of those things where it becomes, I don't know about you, Nathan and Jenny, but you become immersed in it. It doesn't even feel like time just kind of goes. I mean, because you hop on Zoom because you may have, for me, like we were in COVID, so we would hop on Zoom, me and my classmates and my cohort, and we would sit on this computer with our stuff for hours together because you're not by yourself. When we were not in COVID, of course, we would go down to the Portland Center and we would sit there all day Saturday, all day Sunday. But it again, the word family was very important. That's the first word I would say because I wasn't there alone. And here's the beautiful part. Yes, there was a lot of homework. You know, you have a couple classes, so you're going to have the amount of hours of homework so that it matches up. But the instructors would come there on the weekends with you. So not only were your classmates there, Robert Walker, uh, my one of my favorite is I want to say her name is Polly, Polly,
Paula Rizova.
Polly. Yes,
Yep.
It- they were just I don't know. It was just incredible. It's almost like they were player coaches, with a sports analogy. They knew again passionate. These people knew their stuff back and forth, but they would come and sit with us, ask us questions. We can ask as many questions as we want. Yes, and what I loved about Willamette is the number one master's program in the state, maybe even on the West Coast, right? So yes, it's going to be tough. But again, the way it's set up, you can't fail. You're set up to succeed with your cohort and the way these instructors ensure that we're getting the necessary treatment to succeed. So I would say the curriculum, the course, the workload is definitely manageable and doable with busy lives.
Thanks for sharing through your experiences with that, and I concur. Well, let's go ahead and finish up. I don't want to take the whole evening here, but really quick, I've got a couple of slides that talks about the format, and it was mentioned before, but this is an example of a spring 2025 start. The classes would start in the middle of January. In Portland, required courses happen on a Wednesday and Thursday. There's 9 total required courses and 3 electives. The program in itself is a total of 12 classes. In Salem, required classes are on Mondays and Tuesdays. And regardless of Portland, and a picture of the new Eco Trust building in the Pearl District is where our Portland campus is that top right picture, as you can see. And then in Salem, we're on Willamette University's campus right across the street from the state capitol. And what's nice as well is both of these campuses are open to you. And so, for example, as you move along in the program, if there's an elective that you want to take or a life situation that takes you to a different campus, you're more than willing. We're more than willing to work with you to have that other campus be where you take a class or classes. Um, this is just an example of what your semesters would look like. The bottom line here is you might not know what everything means, but what I will say is in this program, there's a really good blend of quantitative and qualitative classes. For example, our students who just started in this past fall, one of their classes was data analysis and statistics, which is the quant class. And then the other one was leadership effectiveness and development. And that really builds upon public speaking, how to become a better communicator, what type of leader are you, how do we expand on our strengths and build up our weaknesses, a lot of presentations. And those are things maybe some people are uncomfortable with, and it exposes you to that. So I always thought there's a really good blend of quant and qualitative classes. And then you also get 3 electives. Some of my cohort members went up to Portland and took business law. I took a negotiation class, international management, developing new ventures if you want to start your own business. And so the electives are pretty robust and they happen on both campuses, depending on which semester. Lastly, let's just finish up and talk about how to apply. And we've made the application pretty easy. Or, we've removed a lot of roadblocks and hurdles with this. But initially, what you would want to do is go online. Our application is online and it's free, and create your username and password. That's kind of step one. After that, All we really need for you to upload into that application is a resume, and most people who've been in the workforce for a few years already have that. A personal statement, which is 500 words, a few paragraphs of kind of why Willamette, why an MBA, and how you think this might help you and what you might want to do with it. But pretty straightforward. It's a chance for you to tell your story. And then two references, not family members, but besides that, people that you have relationships with or have worked with. Our system will automatically send them what they need to respond. Transcripts, initially, people will send us their unofficial transcripts. By the time classes start, we will need official transcripts in there, but you could start with your unofficials, and those can be uploaded into the application portal. You'll do an admissions interview. I introduced our staff before, and Tony Castanerio, our director of recruitment, will interview you for 20 or 30 minutes, and that'll happen on Zoom. All we need for an interview to be scheduled is for you to start the application and for your resume to be uploaded. And then there's the official GMAT or GRE score, but also depending on people's work experience, there's a waiver for that. And so what we want to do in our program is take a holistic approach to our applicants. And so if you're thinking about applying and it's free to apply, what I encourage people to do is to go ahead and explore that and start the application. I think the beauty of working at a place like Willamette University and our MBA program is that we're a smaller school. And what you're going to do is get personal attention, not just in class, but all the way through the application process as well. Our team is going to be working with you every step of the way. I think at the end of the day, if you think this might be an option for you, our next start, whether it's Salem or whether it's Portland, is a spring start, which is middle of January. And I would encourage you to reach out to us or scan the QR code and go ahead and start the application, and we'll find you. Tony, I don't know if Tony's here yet. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here in a second. But
Yeah,
that's all I had.
no, I think that's great. I'm having camera issues tonight. If can everybody hear me okay?
We can hear you great.
Perfect. I just wanted to say hello. Thank you guys for showing up. Really appreciate you guys being here. Really appreciate our alums for showing up tonight, Danelle and Jenny. So thank you. And we'll be sending this out and blasting this to a whole lot of people that'll appreciate this. So again, appreciate you guys being here. Sound like Nate covered all the application materials. We have Dylan Tutt and Heather here as well. Both folks that you guys can always reach out to if you have any questions. And yeah, let us know how we can help.